Hey there, and welcome to the Fiihr Factor, the podcast that shines a light on real stories, smart strategies, and the occasional hard truth about running a business. Think of this as your quick dose of clarity before your first cup of coffee. Let's go. All right, super excited about today. I get to speak with Vincent Lee. He's a baller. He's built an incredible company. It's called INFINI Marketing. Thanks for taking the time, Vincent.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So,
Appreciate it.
I'm all about, I spent a lot of my life in marketing, as you know, when we had lunch together, and I'm all about, marketing, advertising, finding the right people to do the right things to build a brand and get response, both long term and short term, is really a critical piece for business owners. Uh, you know how to do that, but you've also built a business, so this is going to be a fun ride today.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. So tell me, if you would, just give everybody a little background on how you got started in this game and, how you built this company.
Well, I started this company as I was working with a business, and it was a dental office. We scaled it from $5 million to $50 million in about 2 years.
Wow.
And from there, the business owner was like, "Hey, man, I think you should really start your own marketing agency." So I did start my own marketing agency, fully funded at that time, and we had a few partners, and it was going great. However, 2 years afterwards, we have a split of direction. So we wanted to go because it was a clinic, they wanted to be all medical, and I had a bigger vision to service clients from all industries, right? Oil and gas, lawyers, restaurants, roofing, housing, remodeling, construction, and so forth, even e-commerce. Because I have plenty of experiences as marketing director. Prior to the medical side, I was working with a custom home construction side. I did electronic manufacturers. I did retail. I even worked at restaurants before, and I work at a print shop. I work at a web design agency. So I have like a really wide area of marketing. And so that's why we wanted to go bigger. And so we decided to split ways. And then so the company was rebranded as INFINI Marketing. So that's how we got started. And that was approximately 8 years ago.
So that's amazing. I want to ask a question right now because I get this a lot in coaching, and I bet you get it in marketing too. They're like, well, because you have competitors that say, well, I specialize in XYZ marketing. And you're saying I do all kinds of different marketing for all kinds of different companies. I get the same in coaching. They're like, well, but what if you have specialization in my business? I'm like, no, but they're all kind of the same. But I'd
Yes.
love to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like asking a dentist, like, "Hey, do you only do tooth cleaning, or do you do all the extraction and wisdom teeth removal, right? Crown bridges and all kinds of additional skills that a dentist should have as a dentist, right?" I think that's the same thing with marketing. Marketing should be proficient in across all these channels and understanding the market, the demand, the customer profile, the business brand identity, and then all the technologies that's involved with marketing. Because you can't just do marketing and just like, oh, just do social media. Like that's not a complete marketing system. That's a marketing channel, but that's clearly not marketing. Marketing is a system, it's a process, right? And the reason why I look at it as a holistic perspective, because my previous experience as director of marketing, you don't just get to do a director of marketing of just social media, right? You typically have to build an entire system. So that's the corporate background that I come from. And so when I'm working with clients, I always work with them to build the business foundation, the marketing foundation that supports it, right? And so you start with the marketing branding, and then you start reaching out to your customer profile, and then you track all the return on investment. It's very simple, but that is marketing as a whole. That's the entire process, right? And the last part is client retention. That's marketing too. So
Right. Just as getting a client is so expensive, man. And once you get one, keeping them is paramount.
yes, yes, and I think a common thing that people focus on marketing is always generating the leads, and they don't even think about client retention. But the reality is, there's not only opportunity in client retention, but also monetizing, like getting the second sale, the third sale, right? Multiplying the transaction of that one individual customer profile. Given that you have a good product, you can buy, like, how many times do you buy an iPhone? You don't just count one iPhone as a sale, right? And so
Yes.
that's that you got to maintain that relationship. So I know some businesses are natural. They have that monthly MRR, monthly recurring revenue, or service-based maintenance that comes naturally as part of their service. However, in other businesses, you got to create that longevity, that relationship with the client to get that multiple transaction.
Yeah, I worked for, well, I think the company I used to work for, but big company, did all these. They had cable subscriptions and internet subscriptions, and they would spend all this money, millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in big markets every year to acquire customers. And it's like, my dude, you're doing all this discounting to get a customer. You get them for a year, and then they
Yeah.
roll to the next DirecTV or wherever they go, AT&T or whatever. And it's like, why wouldn't you spend more money to have a great customer experience, which they did. They had a great product, but then retain that customer. Maybe give them a little spiff. You could give them a free movie or something, instead of spending all this money acquiring new customers and then churning them on the back end. I think it's so much more economical. And it's a great point you make that, customer acquisition cost is the most expensive thing we do. Why not focus on keeping that customer? So how do you as somebody that works with businesses, how do you coach them on that piece of the business?
Well, I think the strongest relationship is always like a human relationship, right? I think account managers, they need to know it. They need to have all the marketing upsell tools and knowing how to build trust and build incentives all throughout the entire journey. That's always been the greatest. However, there's always the easier touch points that you can do, like text messages. You can give them like a special, like, hey, come back, you get, some discounts or special offers or a package or even a product you're testing that you kind of give them an insight, right? To kind of build that relationship. And then identify your client profiles, like separate it out, right? There's always the A levels and then there's the F levels. Like you just kind of like, okay, these are not profitable clients. And when you do that, then you know how to reach out to them individually, either like take the ones that's a problem, elevate them somehow, transform that into an A. And if you're an A, how to convert it to an S level, right? And so that's all strategy through relationship, subscription features, the text message feature, the newsletter is the mechanical delivery for it, the technological delivery. And also you can do nowadays with social media. That's the reason why you want people to follow social media. It's not just to push your product to people, but just to retain that relationship, you know? And sometimes it doesn't have to be directly to them. And that's the reason why some big companies do Super Bowl ads. And it's not necessarily to get new market share, even though that's part of it. But at the same time, you can just, as a consumer, you're happy, like, oh man, yeah, I'm an Apple customer. Look at how awesome the Apple ad is. So you get associated like that, right? Same thing with cars. It's like, oh, cool. They got this nice Porsche. You're like, oh, cool. Like, that's me. I own that. I'm part of that community. So you kind of have that brand proposition that kind of elevates your business because you're advertising in Formula One. It's expensive to advertise in Formula One. Are they really targeting the general consumer that watches Formula One? Not really. Most people don't even know what those businesses are, right? But then because they're across the seas, like you don't know, they're big in Europe. They may not be big in America. Like we don't know who they are, but we know that's like, man, that's a lot of money you're spending. You know,
Uh,
um,
that premium association is really something. But I remember working in television, and you still when Coca-Cola would run an ad in the Super Bowl, they would still get residual effects in sales besides that. Still, because it's just that big, and people are like, oh, I really like Coke. I haven't had one for a while. I mean, it's just kind of weird, but because
yeah,
clearly everybody knows what Coca-Cola is. You're not advertising to
yeah.
introduce somebody to the product.
Yeah, it's that persistent brand awareness, right? I think that's part of client retention that people don't realize. They're like, I don't see the value of advertising and then not acquiring any new leads. And so out of sight, out of mind, you start losing to your competition because people
Yes.
forget. This is also for like what brand retention people don't do. Like, can you imagine like servicing your dishwasher or servicing a fridge or servicing your laundry machine, right? And you don't put a sticker, and they're like, man, I don't remember who fixed my washing machine last time.
Yes.
That happens, and it's so simple. Like client retention,
Yes.
put a sticker. Hey, this because you give them a business card, they forget, they misplace that, and all you have to do is like, hey, is it cool if I put like a service maintenance so you can call me? I'm right here. It's like, cool. All right, man. Thanks. It's just a sticker.
Yes. Yes, and 100%. And literally that's happened to me or like your water heater goes out.
Yes.
When do I go?
That
I
is
look at the water
so
heater, and
simple.
who's the sticker on the water heater? Well,
Yeah.
I guess I'll call those guys. They installed the last
Yeah.
one,
Yeah, all you home service business owners, like that is the smallest tip that can like amplify your client retention. That doesn't cost you anything. Just a sticker on the fridge or on the washing machine or whatever, whatever you or even your AC. Like when you're fixing AC, right?
Yes.
Just grab the compressor, the Freon, whatever. Just put it someplace where the business owner is like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. This and then that's literally like it's like as if you're the guy that fixes it, right?
It's
So
so true. I
yeah.
like the association, the brand association. It's super important. I was just, and I think I just told you I was just traveling abroad and we were in Belgium. And of course, you have chocolates there. And so one of the, it was in man's world, of course, chocolate world is man's world, of course, but they had a
Yeah.
woman that started making these chocolates. And what she would do was she would write down what people liked.
Mm.
Wow, what a novel idea. Huh? So you're actually right. She dealt with all these high-end people. She wrote down what they liked. She wrote down their feedback on different flavors and types and mixes of chocolate. And then she did one more thing. She created a special box that was unique and handmade. And you put the chocolates that the person likes in the box. You have market research. This is like, this is like grassroots market research and
High
then
EQ.
branding, right?
Mm-hmm. Very high EQ. For
Yes.
sure.
Yeah,
For
and we're doing the same thing now on speed because we have AI and all this data and all those ways to get data. And so, but the simple concept is still the same.
Yeah.
Figure out who your ideal customer is, get as much feedback from that customer as you can, and then be in front of the customer with a great experience, and life is good.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, just keep your customer happy. But that's like an emotional level, right? I think most of the time you just like, thank you, here's the project, bye, see you later. Nothing happens, right? But then the emotional happiness just drops over time. You need maintenance, you need repair, or it's old, they want a newer one. You know, your product is already like all scratched up and you just need to get a new one, like a new Keurig or whatever, right?
Yes,
Get
yes,
a freshener, like get a new one just to kind of get that emotional happy again. And you need to tap into them like, hey, keep maintain those emotional satisfaction and you're gonna get those repeat loyal customers. Just
that's
continue.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you this because this is on my mind, and I've had a few discussions about this on LinkedIn recently, and it's so you've got okay. There's a couple things here. I'm going to let you answer the question a bunch of ways, but there's always this. We somewhat talked about sort of branding or top of the funnel versus the bottom of the funnel leads. And when I think about a bunch of my clients, they're like, well, I got to buy these Google AdWords, which continue to get more and more and more expensive and are less effective. And now you have AI coming into this whole situation. How do you as a business owner position yourself and get ready as this switches? Not get ready, it's happening, but the cost per lead on Google AdWords or whatever you want to call it is going up, and it's not going to go down.
Oh yeah.
And there's other methods of getting those people. So how do you kind of address that problem or position yourself for that problem?
Well, I don't think AI is a problem at all. In fact, AI just makes everything better. It's a tool that enhances and helps business owner. And I think the cost of acquiring a lead or a customer acquisition is always going to be increasing because the competition is increasing, and obviously the given one is inflation, right? And so that's always going to be increasing as well. But the only way to combat that is to actually use AI to increase the quality of your ads, right? And when you want to increase the quality of your ads, you got to use the AI to actually know the competition, the bidding system, because the whole thing that drives the internet market is they're all a bidding system. And it's run by an algorithm, and Google and Meta, they want to make as much money as possible, and they are going to try to tweak that number up no matter what, because they want profit. And that's just given. And they want to increase their price because they want to make more money. And they quote, unquote, hey, it's bidding. But I think across time, price has gone up anyway. So the price gone up. And if you can produce AI that matches your brand and understands what your product offering and service and understand the ICP, right, and is run regularly, then the cost per lead is going to drop. And so that's what I say about AI, because I use AI in my marketing. It's human plus AI, because AI alone is bad. It goes rogue. You got hallucination problems. It doesn't really know when it audits your account or runs some numbers. Sometimes it mix in speculations versus actual verified data. You know, and I'm dealing with this on the program level, and I'm dealing with this on training the AI. And so every marketing agency has different AI and how they're using it. So just because there's quote unquote AI, it's not AI is not the same person. It's not like Bob. So everybody's using Bob. Like, no, there's Bob, John, Peter, or whatever. There's like different types of AI, and they all have different focus on what they're doing, right? So I think if anything, it's just going to get better. And then now you got with AI that's new is the answer engine optimization. And that is nowadays there's a shift in making buying decision making in buying, right? Buyer's decision. Their process have changed because before the number one thing, if you need a doctor, whatever, immediately go to Google because that still exists today. However, sometimes people want follow-up questions. They don't like hunting around website. They look scammy or spam, or even they're putting SEO when you click on it, they don't have the information that you're looking for. So it's easier to just go to AI and ask the AI, hey, I'm looking for a dentist in my area. Which one do you recommend? And you're asking the AI like it's your friend, right? And the AI is going to give you an answer. That's why it's called answer engine optimization. You can have conversation and they can refer the business. Oh, go to doctor such and such, right? And so that's a new thing. Now, how do you get found by AI? And that is to build quality content. So when you build the same thing as SEO, content is king. So if the content is great and you're building this useful information and you have enough volume of information, not just one page that's high quality, you need abundance because when you create a knowledge base, that's how AI can actually see how detailed, how informative is your website. And if your website is informative, it can answer a lot of questions. Then the AI can go, hey, I got this answer from this doctor. This is what's happening with your tooth, right? You can get referred that way because the AI is referencing knowledge base. So that's like on the AI side what's affecting the market right now.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to try to summarize this because it's a squirrely kind of thing, honestly, and it's hard for people to get. But one of the things you said, I think that's so important is that volume does not equal better search results necessarily. You can't
Yes.
generate a bunch of BS on your website and then that's going to juice up your search results. In fact, that could quite actually hurt you, correct?
Yes, exactly. So there is like an invisible score. People call it domain authority. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, Google actually had this rating public. It's called PageRank. PageRank 5, PageRank 6. Like if your website is like high trustworthy, it's like 10 out of 10. Today, a lot of businesses in the algorithm SEO world try to reverse engineer that to try to match how Google values a website, like the score, right? How it scores the website. And so they call it domain authority now. So in like SEMrush has one, every single like Moz has one. So everybody try to create their own trustworthiness score. And that's really what you need to work on is the quality content. But you do need to have a certain amount of volume and you do need to have a certain level of quality, right? But how do we actually know if this website's high quality? Well, the easiest way if there's a lot of engagement and a lot of traffic.
Hmm.
So if you don't have traffic, that means the website's not engaging, cannot retain, and nobody's referring to that source, right?
Interesting. Yeah, it makes sense. So then you got to figure out how to get traffic, and that's get content and have backlinks and all that,
Exactly. So it
right?
feeds itself naturally. Like it's kind of like it's the evidence, right? But sometimes this is where paid advertising can help jumpstart the virality, right? Because in the beginning, you don't have traction. It's kind of like one of those like really old facts or like memes or something like that. That the meme is old, that nobody knows it, and then something happened, and then boom, all of a sudden this old school meme kind of come back to life and becomes relevant again, right? And so there's always like an outside factor that can restart the virality, and sometimes you need to have paid ads to push it. And also you can see the rejection rate when you're actually wanting to know if your content is actually engaging or not. You wouldn't know unless you actually put it in front of people. How many of them says yes, how many says no, because you won't have any interaction to get some engagement, right?
Yeah.
interaction or engagement. So you gotta get started somehow. How do I build? Like, where do I start? Chicken or the egg? Or you don't want to pay ads, and like, you tell, hey Warren, go check out my website. Hey Warren, read this. Hey friend, read this. Hey mom, read this. Right, and that's your own human network. You can do that. And then what if they love it? Then they become your brand voice speaking on your behalf, and that's how your content, gets becomes viral.
I
So
love it. Okay, that's brilliant advice. Yeah, that's clearly why you're good at your do. So let's go. I don't want to geek out too much on this because I could talk marketing all day, and you got a
yeah,
lot of great ideas.
yeah,
Well, tell me about your business. How many people you have now on staff now?
man. So we were 25, and then we are currently at 14, and we believe we're still looking to get like to hire 5 more people right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had some people that we hired, and with the AI adoption that we've been working on, it just wasn't compatible with them, and it was not something that they're interested in doing because some people have opinions about AI. So that's what happened right now with our business. So I think all in all, it's been positive because we don't want to force people if they're not buying into the mission of the business, right? And our goal is to grow our clients' business. And if AI is the tool that we need to do, we have to use the tools that's in front of us.
Yes. I mean, you ultimately have to transfer. We're all in the value transfer business, and we need
Mhm.
to transfer as much value as we can to a client so that they're getting the maximum return on investment, right? And so
That's right.
if AI is one of the tools that we use I get in arguments with my kids about this because they hate AI, and it's like, I'm glad they have some awareness of that. And we got to be discerning, right, in how we use it, and what we use it for, and what we can figure out is AI, and all that stuff. But all that said, hey, we got to give our clients the maximum competitive advantage we can, using
Exactly.
whatever tools we can ethically and morally, right? Period.
Yep. That's correct. That's correct.
So you built this company. What was a big kind of aha that you're like, holy crap, if I could give somebody that's building a company one piece of advice, I would tell them not to do this or to do this.
As I was building the company, man, I think there's always a tension between scaling and preparing to scale,
Yes.
right? And I think some of the areas is that people are overly invested in getting the preparation, and then they're like, okay, I want to make sure I built my team to produce the product, and then so that I can make the dish perfectly and then deliver it, right? And the reality is, you don't really know whether the product or your process or your organization is going to deliver to the client because you don't get any feedback from the client, right? And so what needs to happen is you technically have to kind of go through both simultaneously, because sometimes you spend so much money on the investment side that you don't really go on the outreach and then really testing it out. And there needs to be like, it doesn't matter if it's a software or a product or a service, there needs to be a minimum viable product or service. So like, what's the smallest that you can deliver? I know you can, let's say you can deliver like the most amazing engineered car or something like that, but you don't have the money to do it like with all the bells and features and whistles. Well, break it down to the 4 wheels it can drive. Does it sell? Because you might be building all these additional features that you need to add to the car, but the foundational value is not there. People don't value it,
Yeah.
right?
You got to
And
get it
so
in the market and test it
you
first.
got to get into the market and test it, because that's the refinement of the success of your business is taking that feedback loop from the customer and always adapting to it. You know,
Yes, I love that. That's brilliant advice. I always think there's this tension between perfection of a product or service
yeah,
and speed
right,
to market, and speed to market for the sake of getting feedback on your
yeah,
product or service to iterate it to what the customer actually wants and needs is what you're
yeah,
trying to accomplish, right?
right. It's kind of like well, what's the saying? Like fail fast.
Yeah.
Uh, you know that
Go
that's
fast, fail cheap, something like that.
Yeah, that's so a good example is like you look at Blue Origin, right? If you were to ask how many successful launches compare Blue Origin to Elon Musk, Blue Origin had spent like 15 years, same amount of money as SpaceX, but the result, it's Elon has how many rockets now flying and then coming back over and over.
Yeah.
But do you know what the difference is? Blue Origins, they run, their standard is the rocket gonna be as perfect as possible before launching. So they're very systematic and they want it to be like, we're gonna waste less money when we launch the first rocket, do it one time and do it right. Right? Now you take the opposite side. You take Elon. Elon's like, no, I don't care. I will launch that rocket because I want to know whether my theory is correct or not, and then make some improvements. They're testing for threshold, right? So they're using failure as the methodology to success instead of avoiding failure, which is the same thing that what most business owners don't realize. I want to make sure I don't want to disappoint my clients because I got to get it right the first time. Otherwise, it's my reputation. Yes, it's true, right? Everybody's taking risks, and that's the reason why you should probably, if you get started, don't expect like, oh, I want to start comparing with those OG competitors and sell at the same price. No, your best option is probably to sell cheaper. And then so if you screw up, you're like, hey man, that's the reason I'm cheaper. I'm just trying to do it. I'm new, and please forgive me. I'll do it again for free. That's how cheap you are, right? But you're making
Yeah.
it right, and then you're using that mistake as R&D.
Yeah, and it's hard to do, and it's counterintuitive for people because they want to make sure they get everything right. But it is the kind of overwhelming piece of advice that I hear from anybody going to market with a product or service. Like we got to get it, we got to get feedback because what you end up with might not be what you envisioned or what you started with in the beginning.
Yes, that's correct. So that applies even for myself when I'm running marketing for a client. Like every business is unique, even though they're the same roof, they're both doing roofs or they're doing remodeling. Every business is still unique. Why? It's because what I am pushing is not the service. What I'm pushing is the business, and they need to know, is their presentation going to be successful or not? Sales presentation, your marketing presentation, your website
Yes.
presentation. We got to know, is it going to fail? Is it going to be successful? And like, we can't say, you know what, this is perfect. But this slogan, this logo, it's amazing. By the time we launch, man, $1 million is gonna be there for sure. Like nobody knows. Like there's a lot of competition out there. Like we need to know how it resonates with the public, right? And
Yes.
they're the real judgment. It's not ourselves. We sell to ourselves all the time. We say like, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm great. I'm high quality. Like that's what you tell yourself, but they don't know that. You know, you gotta
100%.
you gotta test it out there. You gotta go out there and fail and figure it out.
Put
You
it
know,
out there, see what happens.
out there. Yeah, see if it works or not. You know, launch the rocket, see if it flies.
Yeah, yes, that's a great example. I love that example. Okay, so let's talk about one. I know one of your biggest challenges that we've talked about when we chatted earlier was finding the right people to do sales.
Yes,
And I know
yes,
this is a problem for so many other business owners. So let's just talk through that a minute. Tell me your experiences and what do you think if you had to diagnose it, what do you think the issue was?
so I think this is something I'm still currently struggling with, right? Because it's always about the individual. Because I don't think that I'm quote unquote selling anything special. But for myself, it's the level of experience of a salesperson in the industry really matters, right? I think if they know the product inside and out, that's the expertise of the product. Because some people are great at the selling part, that means they're great at talking, but they're not really great at actually knowing the product or services. And they themselves never been a plumber or never been a roofer. Like you can't really talk those things unless you been experiencing those things. And I think that's a lot of it. It's like when I'm looking for somebody that does sales, you know, they're only experienced in the talking side of the sales, but they interview really well. But then like they don't really have the depth or knowledge, right? And I think that's for me, it's one of the things that I can't find somebody. Or even if they do, they already established it. In marketing, it's different because if you're good at marketing, and know marketing, you typically do your own marketing for yourselves, right?
Right.
You know, so that's the challenge. I'm in sales and I'm in marketing, which very connected to sales, and so the expertise knowledge is very close. And most of the time, if they already know it, then they're just their own business. You know.
Yeah, so I want to pack that because I ran these big sales teams for decades, and
Yeah.
everybody's got their own philosophy on this thing. I think that I used to have salespeople we would train for a long time about every intricacy of the product and service that we had. And then God forbid we'd train them on these complex systems for entering orders and all this crap that was like not relevant to their life at all. And
Yeah.
now And I've completely 180'd that a long time ago. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I need you to build a list of who you think you're going to talk to. And we're going to go through and decide who's in our ideal customer profile. And then I want you to go chat with them
Yeah.
and just have a conversation and say, hey, look, here's where I'm at now. Here's what I'm doing. I came here for a reason because I believe in what they're doing and their results. Can we talk? Like, I mean, I think that is so much better because it's sort of like the last example that we talked about, which is, hey, get the rocket out there. Let's launch it a few times and see. And it's going to crash probably.
Yeah.
And that's okay because the feedback and the data we're going to get from that is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then we can refine our craft. So I guess that's kind of my first thing that I always tell people. It's like, look, if you're going to hire a sales, and then okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is like, hey, business owner, have we decided what success looks like from the salesperson? And I'm not talking about there's success with results. We got to figure out we got a scoreboard, right? So there's a scoreboard. Did you win or lose, or did you, how many goals did you score? Whatever. Insert sport analogy there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's that.
Yeah.
But then what do we do before that? What's the activity metrics that we know define success?
Mm-hmm.
So like whatever that is. So like in your business, it's I've got to see I've got to get this many appointments with this many qualified prospects. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
there's
think
that. Go ahead.
correct. So we try to set up a system, right? Every salesperson, they have it's outbound sales, by the way. It's the outbound sales and inbound sales, right? So this is the outbound strategy. The inbound strategy, comes in SEO, whatever people call booking appointments, right? But the outbound sales is what are the strategy that they like? Some of them likes cold calling, which does work. Some of them likes door knocking, business door knocking with this B2B, right? And then they like networking. These three things are true, right? So if you're doing calls, how do you qualify the list? Do you have a script? How many phone calls have you made? How many yeses? How many needs to be follow up? And then you rank those things, right? And then how many converted into appointments? How many actually show up that are convert? That's
Yes.
all conversion steps on every single stage on the cold call side. The same thing happens on a networking event. If you're going to a networking event, do you have like a list of the guests? Do you know who's going? So you can identify what company you would like to approach, your ideal customer profile, right? And then you can have like how many meaningful contact or conversation have you had, during a networking event. I know sometimes like you want to try to meet as many people as possible and just like, hey, I'm listening. Like that's like meaningless. Like nobody's gonna remember anything because people only don't remember even what happened, but people remember how they feel, right?
Yes.
And so if you want that kind of impact in networking, then you got to have that meaningful interaction. And so you got to measure that. What does that mean? Well, during that conversation, like, were you able to identify what I call the 4P, right? Do they have power? Are they decision making? Do they have a problem that they need that they solve, right? Do they have the money, the price? Can they actually afford it? Number four is like, is it a priority for them? Just alcohol is a priority, right? These are
Yes.
my 4Ps for qualifying an ICP, right?
I like that.
Yeah, the 4Ps, right? Power, problem, price, and priority. 4Ps,
Yes.
right? You got the 4Ps, boom, you're good. That's phone call, same thing. So you can get that meaningful, and then that's the meaningful, then follow up, try to get the appointment, what's the success rate? So you measure that, and then so based on statistics, like if you go to 10 networking events, how many confirm appointments? So that's conversion rate. So now you can set a goal based on that conversion metric. If you need like one appointment a day and it takes you to go like for every 2 networking, you get one, then great. If I want 10 of them, they go to 20 networking leads and you get, 10 leads.
Yes.
So that's the
Yeah.
conversion, right?
I like all that. And I think that now we got quantifiable activity metrics. Cause then if we can get that, if we agree on what those are, and meaning the salesperson ideally comes up with their metrics, and then we can measure them as we're going through the process. Then we can say, okay, was the fail that the network let's use networking example. Was the fail that I went to the wrong networking events? Did I not engage the right people or have the right targets? Did I not have the right scripting? Did I not ask more questions than talk? Did I ask the right questions? Did I have good follow-up? And then we can narrow down that. And then if they get to the next step, then we can say, okay, how was my next customer engagement, potential customer engagement? Did I do these things? Did I do these things to get to the sale? Did I ask for the sale? Did I ask for a qualified next appointment? All those things.
Yep.
Because you can pretty easily at that point diagnose whether the person's doing enough activity or doing the right activity or saying the right things or just
Yep.
kicking up some dust to
Exactly.
try to get paid, right?
Yeah, and they deliver their business information in a nice 2-minute way instead of like, yes, oh, what do you do? Like blah 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 blah. Never actually hit some core points, or what they explain is something generic. Like, what do you do? I do roofing. That's it, right? It's just like, okay, cool. You're the roof guy. Nice, right? But nothing else. Like, I just know about. Is it good? I don't know. I don't know how good he is, right? We don't know. So, but you want to explain it like, oh yeah, we're like a team of 30. We can do roofing in one day, right? We can work with insurance if somebody is getting their insurance unapproved to replace a roof. We can represent you, or we can advocate for you, or if not, we can even have the legal tell, just all whatever it is, right? Or you can say like, oh yeah, man, we're the only distributor of some awesome shingles. By the way, there are like high-end roof tiles that's like expensive roof tiles.
It
It's
really
like,
makes a difference,
yeah,
right?
really
Product makes a difference.
yeah, but you can mention that, oh, I'm like luxury roofing. And like, what's that? It's like, oh yeah, we carry like high-end, like they do like have this bespoke tile, and the tiles, like the roof tiles are all hand scraped and all like fancy shape and stuff like that. It's like, so each one of them looks like a stone rock, It's really
Yes.
cool. I've seen some of these things, and just like, and some people wanna be in that echelon of roofing,
That's so funny. So I like
Yeah.
that about sales, and I like the quantifiable activity metrics and diagnosing where the problem is, so that we can agree if we change these activities or behaviors, we should be able to get results, right? And that's
Yeah.
it's activity, it's the right activity, and then it's measuring along the way and changing what we need to change and getting feedback and getting better at our craft. So I think that's sales. So okay, so I don't want to
Yes.
take all your time here. I got to
Yeah.
ask you 3 quick questions, okay?
Okay.
And that's how we'll wrap this thing. By the way, INFINI Marketing, INFINI is your company, and you want somebody to actually get results. Like you gotta check out Vincent, because he's got game and he's done a lot of work. So thank you. So I was super excited about this. So okay, so here's the 3 questions.
Sorry. Yeah.
If
Okay.
you're an
Awesome.
animal, what kind of animal would you be?
If I was an animal, man, I guess I would like to be a lion, but the funny thing is, like my Chinese zodiac, I'm a rooster. So like either one of us two, either a lion or a rooster. Like,
And they
well,
both,
to be honest, because I'm a Taurus, so like I'll take that too. So I think those characteristic matches me 3 different ways.
I like it. I like them both, actually. And I
Yeah.
had heard rooster before, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. What do you want to be when you grow up?
What do I want to be when I grew up? Man, I actually wanted to be like comic book designers, animator on the art world, doing those kind of stuff. That's still one of the things I enjoy is like sketching characters. I still draw like anime characters just for fun. That's kind of like where I really wanted to do back in the day. But I end up in marketing, so close enough. Had some design, some illustration here and there.
Well, you do a little creative. I mean, we talked about music. You're a guitar player and
Oh yes.
musician myself, so that gives you a good creative itch to scratch as well, right?
Yep. Definitely.
And then,
Definitely.
lastly, what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered as a loving husband, kind of like John Wick, loving husband, loving father that trying to bless everybody around them, right? Through all the talents and ability that I've been given, I want to be able to bless people.
I love it. I love it. Vincent, thank you so much for your time. INFINI Marketing, look these guys up, and I appreciate your wisdom you shared today. This is a blast.
Thank you for having me, Warren. Really appreciate it.
2 weeks. That's all it takes to see where your business actually stands. No contract, no pressure, just a clear look at what's working and what's costing you. Start your free coaching or take the assessment first if you want a quick gut check. Head to warrenfiihr.com. Let's go!